What if happiness is not where you think it is? Maybe you've imagined that happiness begins when you earn more money, when you get the perfect job, when you find the right person, when you become successful, when people finally respect you, when you can afford the life you've always wanted. So you keep moving, you work harder, you buy more. You compare yourself with people who seem to have more than you, and you tell yourself, I'll be happy when I get there. But then something strange happens. You finally reach the thing you wanted, and the feeling doesn't last. The excitement fades. The new phone becomes normal. The promotion becomes normal. The new house becomes normal. And suddenly, your mind is already looking for the next thing. So what happened? Did happiness disappear? Or were we looking for it in the wrong place? For thousands of years, philosophers have asked what makes a good life. Today, scientists ask a similar question using psychology, surveys, experiments, and years of research. And the answer is more interesting than simply, think positively. Because happiness is not one emotion, it is not a permanent state, and it certainly isn't something you can buy and keep forever. Happiness is a complicated combination of how we experience our lives, how we connect with others, what we value, and how we spend our limited time. And once you understand that, you may start looking at your own life differently. Let's begin with one of the biggest misunderstandings. Many people think a happy life means feeling good most of the time. But imagine a life with no difficulty, no failure, no sadness, no disappointment, no challenge. It sounds wonderful, but would it actually be meaningful? Probably not. Human beings experience a wide range of emotions: joy, sadness, fear, love, anger, excitement, gratitude, grief. A meaningful life doesn't eliminate these emotions, it gives them a place. That's why happiness shouldn't be understood as, I feel good every second. A better question is, do I feel that my life is worth living? You can have a difficult day and still have a good life. You can experience pain and still feel grateful. You can fail and still believe you're moving in the right direction. Happiness isn't the absence of difficulty. Sometimes it's knowing that the difficulty has meaning. Imagine you want a new car. You think about it constantly. You imagine driving it. You imagine how people will see you. You imagine how good you'll feel. Then one day, you get it. For the first few days, it feels incredible. You notice every detail. You enjoy every drive. But after a while, it becomes your normal life. This is one reason why constantly chasing the next thing can become exhausting. Something new can create excitement. But excitement and lasting well-being are not the same thing. If your happiness depends entirely on getting the next thing, you will always need another next thing. More money, more attention, more followers, more achievements, more approval. The finish line keeps moving, and you can spend your entire life running toward a finish line that doesn't exist. So perhaps the question isn't, what else can I get? Perhaps it is, what do I already have that I've stopped noticing? Let's talk about money. Because pretending money doesn't matter would be unrealistic. Money can provide security. It can reduce certain forms of stress. It can give people access to food, housing, healthcare, education, and opportunities. So yes, money matters. But money is not a complete definition of happiness. Imagine two people. One has everything they need financially, but has nobody they trust. The other has a modest life, but wakes up surrounded by people who genuinely care about them. Who is richer? The answer isn't as simple as a bank account. Research on well-being consistently points towards social connection as a major part of a good life. The World Happiness Report's recent global work emphasizes that supportive relationships are strongly associated with well-being across cultures and countries. Money can buy comfort, but it cannot automatically buy belonging. It can buy a beautiful house, but it cannot guarantee that someone will want to sit beside you inside it. And that distinction matters. Think about the happiest memories of your life. Perhaps it was a trip, a family dinner, a conversation that lasted until midnight, A friend who made you laugh when you were having a terrible day. A moment when someone believed in you. Notice something. Many of our strongest memories are not about objects. They're about people. And this isn't simply a motivational idea. The 2025 World Happiness Report reviewed evidence showing that social connection is strongly related to well-being. In other words, you don't only need things, you need people. Someone you can call, someone you can trust, someone you can laugh with, someone you can sit beside without pretending to be someone else. And perhaps that's why loneliness can hurt so much. You can be surrounded by thousands of people online and still feel completely alone, because connection isn't measured by the number of people who can see you. It's measured by the number of people who truly know you. Now look at your phone. You open an app. Someone is traveling. Someone is getting married. Someone bought a house. Someone became successful at 23. Someone looks perfect. Someone seems to have the life you want. And suddenly, your ordinary Tuesday feels like a failure. But you're comparing your behind the scenes with someone else's highlight reel. That's not a fair comparison. And there's another problem. The human brain is extremely sensitive to social information. We naturally notice what other people have. But when you constantly expose yourself to carefully selected images of other people's lives, you can create the illusion that everyone else is winning. Everyone else is happier. Everyone else is ahead. Everyone else has figured life out. They haven't. You are simply seeing the edited version. So sometimes protecting your happiness doesn't require adding something to your life. It requires removing something. Maybe one less hour of comparison, one less scroll, one less attempt to measure your worth against a stranger. Here's something fascinating. We often assume that happiness comes from getting. But research on well-being has also found benefits associated with caring, helping, and generosity. Think about the last time you helped someone. Maybe you gave someone advice, helped a stranger, bought something for someone, called a friend who was struggling, or simply listened. There is something deeply satisfying about being useful to another human being. And sometimes, the fastest way to escape your own problems for a moment is to become useful to someone else. Not because you should ignore your own needs, but because human beings are not designed only to consume. We are also designed to contribute. Here's a surprisingly simple example. Eating is something everyone has to do, but where and with whom we eat can matter. The 2025 World Happiness Report found a strong association between sharing meals and subjective well-being. Think about that. Something as ordinary as sitting around a table, talking, laughing, sharing food, can become part of a happier life. Maybe happiness doesn't always hide inside extraordinary experiences. Maybe some of it is sitting quietly in ordinary moments, waiting for us to notice. There is another trap, trying to make everyone like you. You change how you speak, what you wear, what you post, what you believe. You say yes when you want to say no. You hide parts of yourself because you're afraid someone won't approve. And slowly, you become very good at being the person everyone else wants. But you become less familiar with yourself. Ask yourself, if nobody could see my life, what would I choose? What would you study? Where would you go? Who would you spend time with? What would you stop doing? What would you start doing? That question can reveal something important. Because happiness becomes difficult when your life is built entirely around an audience. You don't need everyone to understand you. You need to understand yourself. Imagine waking up every morning with one goal. How can I feel good today? That sounds reasonable. But eventually, you will have a bad day. Then what? A more powerful question might be, what is worth doing even when I don't feel good? That's where purpose enters the story. Purpose gives direction. It can come from raising a family, building something, learning, teaching, creating, serving others, mastering a skill, protecting something you love. You don't need one giant mission that changes the world. Purpose can be surprisingly ordinary. Meaning doesn't always look impressive from the outside, but it can feel enormous from the inside. Maybe this is the most important lesson. Your brain can become obsessed with a future version of happiness. I'll be happy when I graduate, when I get the job, when I get married, when I make more money, when I lose weight, when I move somewhere better, when people respect me. If you postpone your entire ability to appreciate life until everything becomes perfect, you may wait forever. Improve your life. Build your future. Set ambitious goals. But don't make the mistake of sacrificing every present moment for a future that hasn't arrived. You can work toward tomorrow while still living today. After everything we've discussed, the answer isn't one magic habit. It's not money. It's not fame. It's not constant pleasure. A good life seems to be built from many things working together. Connection, purpose, contribution, growth, attention, and acceptance. The ability to understand that life will contain both beautiful moments and painful ones. You don't need to win against life. You need to learn how to live it. Tonight, before you sleep, don't open social media. Don't compare your life. Take 5 minutes and ask yourself 5 questions. Who are the people I'm grateful for? What am I currently learning? What is something meaningful I'm working toward? Who could I help tomorrow? And finally, what part of my life have I stopped appreciating because it became normal? Don't rush the answers. Sit with them. Sometimes happiness doesn't require discovering something new. Sometimes it requires seeing something familiar with new eyes. Maybe happiness was never waiting at the end of your next achievement. Maybe it was never hiding inside the next purchase. Maybe it was always scattered across ordinary moments. A conversation, a meal, a walk, a book, a laugh, a helping hand, a person who loves you. And perhaps the greatest mistake we make is that we keep searching for a bigger life, when what we really need is to become more present inside the life we already have. You don't have to stop dreaming. Dream, build, learn, grow, become stronger. But don't forget to look around while you're doing it, because one day you may reach the future you've been chasing and realize that life was happening the entire time. So maybe the question isn't, how can I become happy? Maybe the better question is, what kind of life would make happiness a natural consequence? Because happiness isn't a destination. It is not a finish line. It is something you build, something you experience, and sometimes, something you simply notice. So don't spend your entire life chasing happiness. Build a life worth being present for. And when you wake up tomorrow, before you reach for your phone, look around. Notice where you are. Notice who is there. And remember, you may already be standing inside a life that your past self once dreamed about. Don't forget to live it.